This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, I'm calling to order the meeting of the Ad Hoc Grant Search Committee for October 4th at about 2:04 p.m. And we have Kate Rooks, Ed Gibson, myself as members. Diana's out of town this week. And we have Christina Johnson, our COA director, as our guest. And that may be it for the moment, which is fine. I don't see anybody for open time for the public, so we will just move forward. I will do one brief thing just to follow up before we get into the discussion about the COA grant possibility. I was just starting to tell Kate that after you left the last meeting, we had a separate topic that had come up about talking to or applying for a grant through the Mass Cultural Council. And Diana's taking the lead on that. And basically, it's something that's come up a couple of times. Dan LaValle is one of the early ones that raised it, and maybe you too, Kate, about having some movie nights, like an outdoor movie night at the park or something like that. So with the Mass Cultural Grants deadline coming up at the middle of October, Diana's been checking it out and has talked to a couple of area towns that do these, and has also worked with the library and talked about whether they would maybe sort of host these or be part of this. And so the library director's on board with this of maybe trying to propose 3 or 4 dates in July sometime. So it'd be a summer movie night kind of thing. And she has, if she hasn't already, we're going to sort of reserve some dates with the Park Commission just to get on their schedule. And then Diana's already talked to East Hampton Media that apparently has a license to be able to show movies, because that's the kicker, is the cost of the movies themselves is this whole license thing. So anyway, just to say that that's progressing, and Diana's going to be back in a couple of days, and she said that she would be working with the library director to actually put in that grant application and see where it goes. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's, I think it's, she found a group through talking to other towns. She found a group in Chicopee that can provide the screen and the sound system. And that's like $150 a night. So it's not terribly costly for the showing of it. It's more the licensing of whatever movie we get, I think. So, but still, I don't think it's astronomical. So we'll see. I mean, be kind of fun to try and do it and see if something happens. So with that, I'm going to forego minutes. Thanks, Kate, for sending those around right now. I appreciate that. So let's jump into whatever we're talking about with the SIG. Is it really just called SIG grant? I guess. I have a copy of the notes that Kate took. I know both of you, Kate and Christina, had attended the bidders conference last week or whenever that was. So why don't you guys, I'll throw the notes up on the screen here. And thanks, Kate, for doing your usual. I don't know how you ever learned to do notes. It's certainly a skill I never learned to do, I must say.
I just wrote down what I heard. It might not be the most organized just because I didn't really have a chance to go back and edit it, but I just tried to follow along.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, I don't think my brain and my writing skills coordinate at the same pace or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, you're doing a great job capturing all this. So I'm just going to turn it over to you guys and fill us in about where we need to go next, or what any new ideas have come up. If you've had a chance to meet Christina with any of the team at the COA to see what kinds of ideas are gelling to be the subject of the grant application. And so I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. So I have talked to mostly just Kate so far about ideas. And she couldn't be at today's meeting, but she emailed me some thoughts. We haven't had an official maybe COA meeting about it yet.
Right.
But I'm definitely looking forward to doing that because October 18th is the next deadline we need to be aware of.
Right.
Just to submit the letter of intent. And the whole thing is filled out, ready to go, except for we do on that form, you do indicate what categories you're going to, and you can pick more than one category. have to submit more than one application for each category. So I haven't submitted it yet because I'm waiting the intent form yet, just because I'm waiting to have clarification about what we're actually gonna go forward with.
Right. Okay. Well, you've got a little bit of time. That's a couple weeks, almost a couple weeks away. So that's good. Yeah. And that's really not a very lengthy form, I take it. It's more of a paragraph or something. Yeah.
Very fast.
Okay. And do you have a sense of the couple of ideas? I know you were talking something with outreach and whatever else, but.
Yeah. So just looking down at some notes here. So out of the categories, well, really any category I feel like there would be potential for. So so it doesn't mean we're not open, especially at this point, of hearing other ideas. But Kate and I talked about specifically, and this is in no specific order, but there's the Memory Cafe Innovations and Startups category, which is up to a $5,000 award. And our Memory Cafe that we had going ended the funding we had from Highland Valley. And we don't necessarily just want to do what we were doing.
Right.
I don't know. This goes in and out. I'm not purposely. So,
yeah, we lost your camera.
Yeah, it's on though, so I don't know. But anyways, but maybe looking at, how what changes we could make to that, or how we could do it different. One of the limitations of the previous grant we had for the Memory Cafe is we were required to report names and information of those considered caregivers and the people with memory loss. And in some ways that was challenging, and we were just interested in maybe doing it in a way that was more inclusive of anybody. And then, of course, so again, this obviously would, as all these ideas, would need to be fleshed out more, but that was certainly one option. Funds would be used for, entertainment or, the food, things like that of the actual Memory Cafe, as well as promotional materials. Then there's the Senior Center Modernization, which is up to a $25,000 award. And we could look at expanding programming, engagement opportunities through technology. It would be for us to be able to get equipment that would allow for live streaming, at events and meetings, certainly, so individuals could participate that way. It would include a computer to actually run the live streaming programs, a camera system, all of that. And we don't get Wi-Fi in our COA, which cause difficulties. It ends actually at the wall where the select board's meeting room is. So we definitely need a Wi-Fi booster.
So it doesn't go down into the main center itself?
No, it dies. It doesn't. Like if you go against that wall in the center, you can usually pick it up, but it definitely dies by the time it gets to our the main part in our office area.
So it goes as far as the bookcases, maybe, or something?
At best.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's a limitation for a lot of reasons, but this would certainly be if we went forward with that idea, that would be one of the equipment we'd be looking for. Because obviously we couldn't do any of the remote stuff without it.
Right.
Okay. And then finally, the development and implementation of outreach and marketing of your COA to older adults and caregivers. And that has up to a $10,000 award.
Okay.
And Kate, as you know, is the outreach coordinator, was kind of spearheading the ideas around that one.
Yeah.
And she was saying right off the bat, funds could be used to purchase a new outreach specific computer, because she is dealing with a lot of information from Shine that is very protected stuff that I can't see. It has to be very protected, and
Right.
And it's hard because we share computers in here. So anyways, that would be right off the bat something. But it would also, she said, funds could also be used to assist with associated cost of our first welcome packet. This would be for new members within Southampton and surrounding communities, 60 and older. She mentions, of course, that our census data shows that 1/3 of Southampton's residents are over, 60.
Right.
Less than 350 of those residents are currently actually using COA services. So outreach in general, and quote unquote advertising for the COA is always on my mind. Of course, how do we reach more people, etc. So she had the suggestion, as I'm saying, about a welcome packet that includes various information about the van, the Shine information, SNAP, the different outreach programs. Mm-hmm. And the grant would assist in printing and mailing of that, of course. Mm-hmm. She also mentions, let's see, welcome backs from new members. I guess it's a lot around, her suggestion was a lot around a welcoming packet for new members. But I think we could certainly, if we did go with that category, expand that more in other ways too, about how we might reach out to more people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So and looking at your notes here, so if you wanted to apply for more than one, you can, but each one has to have its own application, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you may, from what you're saying, you might have two, possibly. I mean, I don't think I'd recommend doing more than two, but maybe there's two to whittle down whenever you get together. And so you think at this point in time, I mean, there's not much that we can do at this point in time. You still need to be meeting with the COA and whomever to try to whittle these ideas down to something that's very concise and clear.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just looking even at this early stage for input, or if you have, and maybe you don't at this stage have any, but it's obviously valued. And right, the very next thing is getting that that intent form sent in. But again, right. The form's not hard. We just need to whittle down the categories.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then I think that's. Go ahead, Kate. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
I actually was really curious about like the virtual attendance, or if like one of your limitations of the COA is the available space, right? And until we have a new council on aging, I wondered if there were additional opportunities through technology or through being able to reach people at home. And I that was one of the things that kind of came to my mind is, maybe we can't get people to come in, but you might be able to access some of the patients and caregivers at home. Because I know that the state's really eager to expand the memory cafe programming across the state.
We're all getting this emergency notification.
Yeah, so sorry about that. But, it seems like that's something that the state is very interested in. And I just wondered if you could tie those two things together. Like, how could our modernization of the COA help us to fill the gap of reaching out to people who might not be able to physically go to the center because they're caring for somebody at home, but also diversify the programming we're able to offer because of the fact that we have the technology to support it. I think hearing that we don't have Wi-Fi in our COA sounds crazy. I'm shocked that you sharing computers with the number of staff that you have there. It seems like that's, I feel like, expanding access to technology is something that the state is also very interested in from like a senior's perspective, and like helping make sure that there's equitable access for seniors to have to be able to use computers and have the training to use computers. And so I kind of see that like all tied pretty closely together. And like, maybe that could help you to expand them. Like, and I would say, like, if you want, say you have 350 people that are currently attending the COA, like being really intentional about what your goal is for like a target. Like, okay, we would like to reach an additional percentage. And this is something you could talk to Kate about. Like, okay, and then how are we going to achieve that? And that's what I think we target the ask for and say, like, these are our action items. Like, I feel like our last one, like they wanted more, like, this is exactly what our timeline is going to be. And this is how, or these are what our goals are. And this is how we're going to reach those goals. And so I think, it'd be really great if you and Kate could brainstorm, okay, yeah, we want to reach more people, but exactly what are we going to do? Like, what could we do? Like, I would even go as far as like saying, okay, what are some specific programs that we could offer through technology? I think about like an exercise class or a caregiver support group, or, maybe if there's a particular like interest that you already are aware of amongst Southampton residents, like, I don't know. I would love to go back to our last Memory Cafe like grant proposal, like what we submitted. It was so robust and it was like pretty expansive. But like really think about exactly like who you want to target and how you want to like reach those people, and then say, okay, how can we build this like budget around that? I think the mailing is like, I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to be really important to market the services. I also feel like if I was the grant reviewer, I think I'd want to see more than like a mailing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, and I believe I have a copy of the grant application for the Highland Valley one for the Memory Cafe, so I'll send that around.
I'm sure I have it some. I mean, I know. Well,
I entered it with Joan, so I've got the final version of it. I'm sure I would have kept a copy of it, so I'll double check that and send it around.
I mean, we put in a lot of different programs in there, and they were like, wow, this could be like a standard of care. Like, they were really excited about some of the ideas we had listed in there. And I wonder if there's still room to do some of that.
Maybe in combination with something else and not as a standalone like we had tried to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ed, while we have you, do you have any comments or thoughts about the Wi-Fi? I know that varies around town hall. Is that something that's an easy fix or a complicated fix? Oh, you're on mute.
The complicated fix. Do you realize that you only have Wi-Fi in the select board room because it's a donated router?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if that was the case. Yeah. So, I mean, I can get things on my phone fairly well, but yeah, not on my computer sometimes. Yeah, for sure. So is it partly the thickness of the walls, or we just need more routers, or what do we need?
Hang on.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we need routers and a couple extra routers or something. Would that help us? Or?
Hang on, please.
Oh, okay.
Issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's the entire infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that is part of what phase 2 or 3 may be after this email migration server replacement is. That's why we just had them in to take a look at the wiring, the switches, and the Wi-Fi to come up with different phases and different costs. So whether it's a capital request or a future state grant request, that will have that information readily available.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay.
Is there maybe a temporary fix? Like, would it help if we just got one more, like a modem or something? I don't know. I'm just thinking, because obviously that will take a while.
Right, but no, there is not a correct, secure temporary fix.
Mm-hmm. But could we apply for it? Like, could that be part of our application, is to expand Wi-Fi access into the Council on Aging?
I need the numbers back from Novus first to see what those are for the infrastructure, Kate. Everything follows suit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the one router that we have in the select board office, or select board meeting room, is that the one that we got from Matt Rowland? Is it? Or
No,
is that
that was actually donated a while ago by Art Lawrence.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So there's internet throughout the building, but there's only Wi-Fi in the select board room.
Wow.
No, the internet and the Wi-Fi are, well, depends on if you're plugging in hardwire or picking up via Wi-Fi. There are two Wi-Fi, shall we say, ports or system. One generates from the break room, and then the other, which because it was weak at that other end, and Art donated that modem, was put in the select board meeting room.
Okay. So I was thinking because I can do Wi-Fi, I can get on the internet in the upstairs meeting room, right? So
yeah, that one would generate from the
break room.
From the break room, correct?
Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, well, something to work towards.
Grant asks, just while we're talking about technology, would there be a problem in asking for like another computer or something if that was part of a grant request?
Well, again, it has to go to the server, which means you have to have the wiring and the outlets for the computer.
Mm-hmm. Which we don't have right now, because you've got, what do you have, 3 computers there now or 2?
3.
Okay.
But I know Kate said for her work as outreach, she would want a laptop, in which case you don't have to be plugging it in.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you would need Wi-Fi then because you wouldn't be connected hard. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that is a big issue right now because she doesn't, when she meets with people, she actually has to go into, which she would have to for privacy anyways, I guess, but she has to find an area of the building because she uses her private personal laptop, which concerns me because she has Shine information on it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I trust that she's secure, but it's still, she shouldn't be having it on a private laptop.
Right.
And then she has to go and find a room that has Wi-Fi because she's using a laptop. So.
Okay. Well, let's keep talking about that. We won't solve it today, but let's keep that on the top burner there to see what can. I agree with you that, for any official Shine information and, official stuff like that, something more secure or more clearly COA property is probably the way to go rather than a personal laptop. Yeah. So, okay. Okay. So in terms of this, so we've got some ideas about the possible grant categories, but I think it really is going to take, and whether you want to have a meeting, Christina, with, not only your Kate, but also this other Kate. I'm volunteering her if she could zoom in on something sometime, depending on, when you guys were going to meet. I mean, Kate's been a great resource, certainly on the last grant, and I would just encourage you to make use of her skills too and her experience working with the elderly population in her previous life before she turned into the student generation.
I'm all over the place.
Exactly.
And I also did share some, I'm hoping you get it to the COA director email, but I had taken a bunch of notes about the Memory Cafe development process, and maybe we don't need to recreate a whole wheel. Maybe we could take some of that information. So I can put some links because I don't think Susan Siebel? So I'm not sure that she was part of that discussion either. So maybe we can kind of take what we have and then schedule just like a meeting to talk about how we can pull this together and at least have the framework of what we're shooting for by October. I don't know. That's the deadline's the 18th. So maybe by the 14th. Yeah. Or whatever I would say the 12th, since that's like a Thursday.
I think that's a great idea.
We work on Fridays.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's aim for that. I'll be in touch because you have, I liked how you were more, God, I can't speak today. I really can't. But I liked how you expanded. Like I was just giving a brief overview but you really expanded well kind of the thoughts around that. So that was, love to tap into that. So
Sure. I'm happy to help in any way possible. Yeah. So just let me know if there's a time that works or a day that works better for you. And then I can let you know when sometimes I might be able to meet. My schedule during the day is a little crazy, but I can usually figure something out.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Yeah, and I really do agree with you to try and get something together before the 14th or thereabouts anyway, and that way you're not jammed. So the 12th or the 14th, so you're not jammed at the last minute. But it doesn't sound like this is the heavy lift part, but it's really going to take you more brain power to kind of really isolate what you really want to do. And I think Kate is really right too, that it's got to be very clear and very specific, very, very measurable objectives so that people understand what you're going to want to do. And then to the extent that there's some timeline attached to it, I think that always helps. So
I also think something that would be helpful for us to think about more is community partnerships. Like I know they talked about partnering with the local board of health, but I feel like there is room for us to work within some local vendors more to maybe that could help you with recruiting, also help to support seniors at home who might not want to come into the center. And I think that community partnership might be another thing that we can tap into a little bit. Maybe it'll perk up their ears a little bit more, just because it is something I just listen to what they're excited about during the meeting and then kind of use that to our advantage a little bit. But that was another thing I heard them talking about in that meeting.
With Joanna over at the library about really strengthening our relationship because for both benefits, and she actually came in today and talked to a bunch of people, but we are talking about different programs we could share, different ways to get new members of the library as well as new members here. So on those, you're absolutely right. We need to reach out to more people too. So
right, that sounds good. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Great. Okay. Well, Christina, thanks for joining in, and we'll let you get back to work, and we'll continue a few more minutes. But thanks for joining in, and we'll be back in touch.
All right. I'll look for your email.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Good. So other than that, nothing too major, although I will just pull Kate into this. And for the record, so Ed and I have reached out to Chief Anderson, who is the person who had done the fire station assessment report. And he and his company are willing to help us put together the grant proposal for whatever is needed at the fire station, likely equipment, possibly a tanker truck or whatever they decide is going to be their highest priority over there. And so this would be something that we've got to vote on at select board next week to allow some funds to pay their services. But I think it's well worth it. So it's like I said, it's
consultant.
It would be his company would be a consulting firm that would, do all the research and develop the narrative and all the statistics for the grant application that it requires, and then do the editing and probably working with one of us, Ed, myself, or Bradley, to actually enter it in online, most likely. So thus far, the deadline hasn't, it's not open yet. So we're just getting some ducks in a row and getting ready so that when it is open, we don't waste any time on that. So he would have to spend a lot of time talking to folks at the current fire department and, just get some basic facts and figures in terms of, numbers of calls, numbers of people, all those kinds of things, where they spend their time, what the most frequent calls they have, et cetera, how they use their time with the fire station part of things in particular. So I think we will, from the select board point of view, make the recommendation. I would like to make the recommendation that we accept his offer of services and enter into a small contract with them for the duration of the, probably 3 or 4 months until, the grant is actually closed. The application is closed anyway. And then, that if we have to help out with some of the town narrative, that would be more of our focus, to provide some of the context and background, but let them do all the technical stuff. So that's going to be in the works. So nothing yet, but that's the hope. So
any help is good help.
Yeah, exactly. And then I saw a thing cross my desk the other day that there's a webinar coming up soon for Mass Trails again. It's getting ready to open up again. So I passed it on to the Greenway folks and they'd already gotten it. So I think they're probably going to take the lead as they did last time and decide what they need to do for one more round of mass trails probably. And so we'll wait to hear a little bit from them. But
has there been any like community forum or like information that's been provided to the town? Because I kind of feel like that's one thing I feel like I haven't heard a lot about, and I was really about that. But I feel like that's going to come back and like
they're actually working on that, arranging something for that now.
That's great. Because I feel like the more we create buy-in for this, the less like, friction there's going to be in the long run. Coming from somebody who, you know, who lives next to somebody who's pretty opposed to the trail. So I'm just saying, I feel like the more open dialogue there is and like promotion of like, you know, transparency and clear communication, I think it's going to go a long way. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things too, I had sent a note because, you know, I'd been involved with the setup on the website too. And they've got a page on the website, which has not been much updated, or it hadn't been like about 10 days ago. So I had sent a note out to the chair saying, hey, you know, you had somebody who was supposed to be working on this website. Let's get some information on it because, you know, otherwise people don't even know that you're working on it. So I haven't had a chance to see if they've done any updates on it, but that's where people should be able to find something too, is on the Greenway Committee page of our town website. So we're going to be kind of trying to direct people to there as well and go toward official news, if you will, from the website and the town Facebook page that Randall manages, rather than, you know, stuff eventually gets to the community page, which is fine. People get their news there too. But the official page is what we really want to try to keep people focused on. And then, you know, so we'll be trying to push that a little bit more too. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of, you know, there's got to be public information on that and a couple of these other projects that are going on too, just to keep the public informed. And I attended the other day a webinar of the Mass Municipal Association put on a webinar on community engagement. So I'll pass around that I think they probably have it out now. I'll double check. They had a PowerPoint, but it was really well presented. In fact, if the oral part of it is there, it was even probably better than the PowerPoint itself. But it was just talking about the difference between community engagement versus involvement and how you get a community involved in things. And it was really, really well done. So I will pass that around compared to. I'd love to read it because I think some of the webinars I've sat in on have just been dry as mud, but this one was actually useful, you know, so that was good. So other than that, I don't think we have anything. Do you mind if we would just wait on the minutes until we have Diana back the next time, and then we'll do that? And so let's maybe just take a look at another date for a meeting. I don't have anything else on the agenda right now to talk about. Does Mass Trails, do we have like a date that's going to open? I do, which of course I can shoot that to you afterward. I think I forgot what it was. It's just a webinar on the usual application process again. Oh, it's expected. So it says it's expected to open in November 23. Oh, so we have plenty of time. I'm just going to put it in the minutes that it's it's probably February. Right. I think last time I'm thinking it was maybe a January application. It says expected to open November 23 with a deadline of February 1st, 24. So that's like pretty soon. Yeah. Okay. So there's something coming up mid October. I can shoot you that date. I'll just send it to you. You can add it to the notes. That was going to be happening. So I think Mark Cassis will probably attend as usual on that. So 2 weeks out from today is the 18th, which is the time for submitting that thing. So maybe, shall we try that and see? I think that's fine. Honestly, I feel like they need to say what they want to work. You know, I'm happy to be a support, but I feel like they need to come up with their idea. So either the 18th or the 25th, either one. I mean, if we don't have to. Let's see. Let me just look at my work. Those are Wednesdays, both of them. The 18th. Could we do 2:30? I have something until 2:30. Okay, we can try that. 2:30 or maybe even 3. I'll check with, see 3 o'clock is also fine. Yeah, okay. Well, when Diana gets back, I'll just double check the time with her on that too and see. Okay, I'll just block it and then you can let me know. Okay, good. All right. Ed, do you have anything in particular offhand?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's say that we will hold off on the minutes and we'll just have a motion, Kate, to adjourn, I guess.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, and I will second that. And so, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, all right.
Right,
So we
thank
will
you.
call ourselves adjourned at 2:39.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.